Hello friends, welcome, I'm so glad you're here. Have you ever used an app on your phone, maybe to order coffee, and it just worked? You tapped a button, the little circle spun for a second, and poof, your order was placed. Or maybe you're scrolling through a beautiful website and the images just glide into place. The text is easy to read and you find exactly what you're looking for. It feels like magic. It feels effortless. But here, the secret, it's not magic, it's work. It's craftsmanship. It's the result of someone, or more likely, a whole team of people thinking very, very hard about you. We live in a world built by these people. We carry their work in our pockets, we interact with it on our desks, it's even in our cars and our refrigerators. And we call these people programmers. It's a word that carries a lot of weight, doesn't it? When you hear programmer, what do you picture? I bet for many of you it's someone in a dark room, hoodie up, staring at a black screen with glowing green text, typing furiously in a language that looks like an alien civilization's math homework. It's intimidating. It feels separate, like a secret club you're not invited to. And then to make it worse, they start using their own secret language. They throw around terms like back-end, front-end, full stack, JavaScript, Python, API, database. And at that point, most of us just nod and smile and slowly back away. We accept that this is a part of our world we're just not meant to understand. Well, I'm here to tell you that's not true. It's not a secret club. And today, we're going to bust that myth wide open. My goal for our time together today is to peel back the curtain. We're going to take this big, scary, intimidating idea of a programmer and break it down into simple human terms. We are going to demystify the digital world. By the end of this video, you won't just know what front-end, back-end, and full stack mean. You will understand it, you'll feel it. You'll be able to look at any app or website you use and see behind the screen. You'll see the structure, the logic, and the people who built it. This isn't about turning you into a programmer. Unless, of course, you want to be. This is about digital literacy. This is about understanding the language of the 21st century. Because whether we're architects or doctors or artists or parents, we are all living in a house built by code. Don't you think it's worth knowing how the plumbing works or how the lights turn on? So I have a small ask. Stick with me. This isn't a 30-second soundbite. We're going to take our time. We're going to go deep, but we're going to do it with simple stories, with metaphors, and with real-world examples that everyone can grasp. I promise you, by the end, the world around you will look just a little bit different, a little bit clearer. Are you ready? Let's get into it. So, before we can talk about the different types of programmers, we have to agree on what a programmer even is. What are they actually doing all day? At the absolute simplest level, a programmer, or a developer, or a software engineer, they're all just different words for the same idea, is a translator. That's it, they are a translator. They translate human ideas into a language that a computer can understand. You see, computers, for all their smartness, are actually incredibly, breathtakingly dumb. They are rocks we tricked into thinking using electricity. A computer doesn't understand ideas. It doesn't understand show me a picture of a cat or find the fastest route home. A computer understands exactly two things, on and off. That's it, a 1 and a 0. A programmer's job is to take a complex human desire, like, I want to share this photo of my lunch with my friends, and break it down into thousands, sometimes millions, of tiny, specific, brutally logical steps that this on-off rock can understand. This set of instructions is what we call code, and the language it's written in is a programming language. Think of it this way. Imagine you have to give instructions to a robot to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. If you told a human, hey, make me a PB&J, they'd get it. They would use a lifetime of assumed knowledge. They know where the bread is, what a knife is for, how to open a jar, how much jelly is normal. But if you tell the robot, make me a PB&J, it will just stand there. It doesn't know what peanut butter is. It doesn't know what bread is. It doesn't know what make means. You, as the programmer, would have to write a script like this. Lift your left robot arm. Move your arm 3.5 feet forward. Activate your pincer grasp. Grasp the object labeled bread bag. Lift arm 6 inches. Rotate arm 180 degrees. Move arm 2 feet to the left to the area labeled counter. Deactivate pincer grasp, and you'd have to do that for every single step. You'd need instructions for opening the twist tie, for separating 2 slices, for picking up the knife, for what happens if the knife drops. That's called error handling. That is programming. It is the art of perfect, unambiguous logical instruction. It's less about being a math genius and more about being a fantastic detective, an obsessive planner, and a very patient teacher. The programming mindset isn't about complex calculus. It's about looking at a giant, impossible-sounding problem like build a global photo-sharing app, and having the patience to break it down into a million tiny, solvable problems. So when someone is coding, they are just writing a very, very specific recipe for a very, very dumb, but very, very fast machine. Now, this is where it gets interesting. In the old days, one person could do all of that. One person could write the recipe for the whole sandwich, from finding the bread to cleaning the counter. But as our sandwiches got more complicated, as we went from simple text on a screen to entire 3D worlds in a video game or global-scale video streaming services, it became impossible for one person to hold all those instructions in their head. The job just got too big. And so the programmers started to specialize. They split the work. They split the world fundamentally into 2 halves, the part you see and the part you don't. This brings us to our first main character, the front-end developer. The easiest way to understand this is with an analogy. We're going to build a restaurant. When you walk into a fancy restaurant, what's the first thing you experience? You experience the ambience. You see the decor, the color of the walls, the art. You feel the tables, the quality of the linen. You hear the music. You read the menu, the font, the layout, the pictures. You interact with the waiter, who is polite and helpful and takes your order. All of this, everything you can see, touch, and interact with, is the front end. A front-end developer is the person who builds the dining room of the digital world. When you go to a website, everything you see in your browser is the front end. The logo, the Buy Now button, the way the menu slides out when you tap it on your phone, the font, the colors, the layout. This is their entire world. Their job is to be the bridge between the human and the machine. They are obsessed with one question: how does this feel for the user? Is it easy to use? Is it beautiful? Is it confusing? If I click this button, does it do what I expect it to do? When I'm on my phone, does the text get tiny and impossible to read, or does it cleverly rearrange itself to fit my screen? That's called responsive design. The front-end developer is part artist, part psychologist. They have to have empathy. They have to put themselves in your shoes. Think about a badly designed website. You know the ones. The buttons are tiny, you can't find the contact page, a pop-up ad covers the whole screen and you just get frustrated and leave. That is a failure of the front end. It's like walking into a restaurant where the music is deafening, the chairs are all broken, and the menu is written in a language you can't read. You just turn around and walk out. It doesn't matter how good the food is in the kitchen. If the dining room experience is terrible, no one will ever stay to eat. So what tools do they use to build this? You'll hear 3 main terms: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Let's stick with our restaurant. HTML, Hypertext Markup Language. This is the structure. This is the blueprint of the restaurant. It's the nouns. HTML is the code that says this is a heading. This is a paragraph of text. This is an image. This is a button. This is a list. It doesn't say what they look like, it just says what they are. It's the raw studs and drywall. It says there will be a wall here, a door here, and a window here. It's the skeleton. CSS, cascading style sheets. This is the presentation. This is the interior decorator. It's the adjectives. CSS is the code that says, okay, that heading you mentioned, make it big and blue. That button, make it green, and when someone hovers their mouse over it, make it dark green. That list, put it on the right side of the screen and give it a shadow. CSS is the paint, the wallpaper, the furniture, the lighting. It's what takes the boring skeleton of HTML and makes it beautiful. JavaScript, this is the interactivity. This is the magic, it's the verbs. If HTML is the noun, the button, and CSS is the adjective, the green button, JavaScript is the action. It's the code that says, when the user clicks that green button, then show them their shopping cart. Or when they scroll down the page, then fade in that image. It's the electrical wiring. It's the waiter who takes your order and does something with it. So HTML is the skeleton. CSS is the skin. JavaScript is the nervous system that makes it all move and react. A front-end developer lives in these three languages. They are masters of the user's experience. They worry about psychology, design, and accessibility, like making sure people with vision impairments can still use the site. Have you ever been on a website that felt slow, where you clicked a link and just stared at a white screen for 5 seconds? That's often a front-end problem too. Maybe the images they used were way too big, or their JavaScript was clunky and inefficient. It's their job to make the experience feel fast, smooth, and seamless. So the front-end developer is the architect, the interior designer, and the hospitality manager of the digital world. They build everything you see. But what happens when you actually click that Buy Now button? The waiter JavaScript takes your order. Where does it go? It doesn't just stay in the dining room. The waiter has to turn around, walk through a swinging door, and go somewhere you, the customer, are not allowed. They go to the back end. Welcome to the kitchen. The back end is everything you don't see. It's the back of the house. It's the kitchen, the plumbing, the electrical grid, the walk-in freezer, the storage rooms, and the office where the manager does the books. A back-end developer is the person who builds and maintains all of this hidden infrastructure. Their work is invisible, but without it, the beautiful front end is just a pretty, non-functional movie set. It would be like a restaurant with beautiful tables and menus, but no kitchen, no chefs, and no food. You could sit down, but you could never, ever eat. The back-end developer is obsessed with one question: how does this work? They care about things like logic. When the waiter brings an order for spaghetti, what is the recipe for spaghetti? How do I take the raw ingredients data and turn them into a finished product, the information you asked for? Data, where do we store all our stuff? When a new user signs up, where do we keep their username and password? Where do we store the 10,000 products we sell? This is the database. It's the giant, organized pantry and refrigerator. Security. How do we make sure only the chefs are allowed in the kitchen? How do we protect the customer's credit card information? How do we make sure one angry customer can't come in and burn the whole restaurant down? Efficiency and scale. The kitchen is great. It can make one plate of spaghetti. But what happens when 1,000 customers all order spaghetti at the exact same time? Can our kitchen handle the load? Or will it grind to a halt with orders piling up and waiters getting gridlocked? This is what scaling means. So let's trace that button click. You, the user, are in the dining room, the front end. You click the green Buy Now button, built with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. The JavaScript, the waiter, takes your request. The request is basically an order. This user, ID 123, wants to buy one pair of red sneakers, size 10. The waiter walks through the swinging door and hands that order to the back end. The back end, the chef or the application logic, gets the order. It says, a purchase request. I have a recipe for this. First, it goes to the database, the pantry. It asks, do we have red sneakers size 10 in stock? The database checks the inventory shelf and says, yes, we have 14 pairs. Second, the logic says, okay, The user is paying with this credit card number. I need to check if this is valid. It sends a secure message to another backend, the bank's payment processor, to get approval. The bank system says, yes, the charge is approved. The backend logic now does several things at once. It tells the database, okay, update the inventory. We now have 13 pairs of those sneakers. It tells another part of the database, record this sale. User 123 bought sneakers for $50. And it sends a request to the shipping department system to please package and send 1 pair of red sneakers to this address. Finally, after all that hidden work is done, the back-end chef prepares a plate to send back to the dining room. This plate is just a little piece of data. It says, success. The order is confirmed. Your order number is 8,675,309. The waiter JavaScript takes this success message, runs back out to the dining room, the front end, and shows it to you. On your screen, the Buy Now button disappears and is replaced with a green check mark and the words, "Thank you, your order is confirmed." All of that happened in less than a second. And you, the user, saw none of it. You just saw a button change to a check mark. That is the life of a back-end developer. They build the entire unseen world that makes the modern world function. They don't use HTML or CSS. They use different languages. You might hear names like Python, Ruby, Java, C#, or Go. They use powerful tools to manage databases like SQL or PostgreSQL. Their work isn't pretty. It's not visual. It's about pure logic. It's pipes and engines and systems. Think about an iceberg. The front end is the beautiful, visible tip of the iceberg above the water. The back end is the enormous, unseen 90% of the ice below the water that holds the entire thing up. When you use an app and it feels buggy, like you save a note and it disappears, or you log in and it says wrong password, even though you know it's right, or the whole service just crashes, that is almost always a back-end problem. The kitchen is on fire. Now I imagine some of you are thinking, wow, that's a lot. And you're right. And it's also why I get so excited about this stuff, because it is a lot. And I think this is a good moment, as we're sitting here in the middle of this restaurant, to just take a pause. We've talked about the what you see and the what you don't. We've broken down this giant, scary programmer idea into 2 very human, very understandable roles, the artist front end and the engineer back end. If you're finding this helpful, if the light bulbs are starting to go on, it would mean the world to me if you could take just a second and hit that like button. It's a tiny click for you, but it's a massive signal to me and to the YouTube universe that this kind of deep dive explanation is valuable. And if you have any questions, maybe a metaphor isn't clicking, or you're curious about something I haven't mentioned, please drop a comment below. I read all of them. This is a dialogue, not a lecture. Your questions help me understand what you need to know, and it helps everyone else who is learning right alongside you. And of course, if you want to make sure you don't miss our future explorations into technology, psychology, and creativity, this is the perfect time to subscribe to the channel. We have so much more to talk about. All right, quick sip of water. Are we ready? We've got our dining room. We've got our kitchen. We understand the 2 main specialists. But there's one more role we need to discuss. What do you call the person who can do both? Let's go back to our restaurant one last time. We have the front-end specialist, who is an amazing interior designer and host. They make the dining room a place you never want to leave. And we have the back-end specialist, who is a world-class chef and engineer. They can cook 500 meals an hour all perfectly, and the kitchen runs like a Swiss watch. Both are masters of their craft, but the front-end designer doesn't know how to cook, and the back-end chef doesn't know how to talk to customers or design a menu. They are specialists. They work together, but they live in different worlds. Now, imagine the restaurant owner. This is someone who maybe started as a waiter front-end, They got really good at it, but they were curious. So on their off hours, they started hanging out in the kitchen. They learned from the chef back end. They learned how to prep the food. They learned how to run the inventory. They learned how the plumbing worked. After a few years, this person knows how to design the menu and how to cook the food. They know how to greet the customers and how to fix the broken dishwasher. This person is a full-stack developer. The stack is just a fancy word for all the layers of technology that make a project work. The front-end HTML, CSS, JavaScript is the top of the stack. The back-end, the logic, the database, the server is the bottom of the stack. A full-stack developer is someone who is comfortable working on the full stack, from top to bottom. This doesn't mean they are the best in the world at all of it. The specialist front-end designer might be better at making things beautiful. The specialist back-end engineer might be better at making the database super fast. But the full-stack developer has a superpower. They see the entire picture. They are the general contractor who can build the whole house. They can pour the foundation back-end database, frame the walls back-end logic, run the electrical, the connection, the API, and paint the walls and install the fancy light fixtures, front-end. Why is this so valuable? Well, if you're a big company, like Google or Netflix or a major bank, you will have huge teams of specialists. You'll have 50 front-end developers just working on the search button and 100 back-end engineers just working on the recommended for you algorithm. But what if you're a small startup? What if you're just two people with an idea working in a garage? You can't afford to hire 50 specialists. You need one or two people who can just build the first version. You need a full-stack developer. You need someone who can build the simple kitchen and the simple dining room to prove that people actually want to eat your food. The full-stack developer is the ultimate problem solver. They can jump in wherever the fire is hottest. Is the website ugly? They'll put on their front-end hat and write some CSS. Is the database slow? They'll put on their back-end hat and optimize the logic. They are the Leonardo da Vinci of the programming world, a polymath, a Renaissance person who is interested in both the art front-end and the science back-end. In many ways, full stack is a return to how programming used to be before things got so specialized. It's for the person who isn't satisfied just building the engine. They want to build the whole car and drive it too. So to recap our three main roles. The front-end developer, the artist/interior designer. They build what you see. They care about the user experience. They live in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. The back-end developer, the engineer/chef. They build what you don't see. They care about logic, data, and efficiency. They live in languages like Python or Java and in databases. The full-stack developer, the restaurant owner/general contractor. They can build the whole system. They understand both worlds and how they connect. And that's it. That's the big secret. It's not a secret club of math wizards. It's a team of craftspeople. It's a team of artists, architects, engineers, chefs, and general contractors, all working together to build the digital world we live in. Some people are passionate about making things beautiful and easy for other humans to use. They become front-end developers. Some people are passionate about building massive, powerful, logical systems, the hidden engines that make it all run. They become back-end developers. And some people are passionate about seeing the whole picture, from the first idea to the final product. They become full-stack developers. None is better or harder than the other. They are just different. You need all of them. A beautiful restaurant with a non-functional kitchen is useless. A world-class kitchen with a filthy, confusing dining room will go out of business. So, why did we spend all this time talking about this? Why did we go so deep into restaurants and icebergs and robot sandwiches? Because these programmers, these developers, are the architects of our modern lives. The way we work, the way we shop, the way we vote, the way we fall in love, all of it is now happening inside the restaurants they built. And when you don't understand how something works, it's easy to be afraid of it. It's easy to feel powerless. It's easy to feel like the world is just happening to you, run by algorithms and code you can't see. But you can see it, you can now. The next time you use an app on your phone, I want you to try this. I want you to look at it and see the layers. Notice the colors, the fonts, the buttons. That's the front end. Someone chose that color. Someone decided to put that button right there, hoping it would be easy for you to find. Then click a button. Click save, or like, or post. And as that little spinner spins for half a second, I want you to picture the order being rushed from the dining room into a massive, bustling, invisible kitchen. That's the back end. Picture the chefs running around, checking the database, running the logic, and sending a response back. And when it all works, when your post appears, or your like is registered, just take a second. Take a second to appreciate the human effort that made that effortless magic possible. Appreciate the front-end artist who made it pleasant and the back-end engineer who made it work. You are now digitally literate. You are no longer on the outside of the secret club. You are in the know. You see the matrix. This knowledge gives you power. It gives you the power to be a better consumer, a better citizen, a better creator. You can ask better questions. When a company says, "We had a data breach," you'll understand, their back-end security failed. Their pantry got raided. When you find a website impossible to use, you won't just think, "I'm bad at computers." You'll think, "Wow, their front-end design is really failing its users." Programming isn't some cold, robotic, alien language. It's just the newest way that humans have found to build things. It's a craft, like woodworking or painting or architecture. It is a deeply human, deeply creative process of solving problems. And maybe for some of you, this wasn't just interesting. Maybe it sparked something. Maybe you found yourself thinking, I do care about how things look and feel. Maybe you're a front-end developer at heart. Or maybe you thought, "I love the idea of building the engine, the logic." Maybe you're a back-end developer. If that's you, I just want to say, you can do this. You don't need to be a genius. You just need to be curious, patient, and willing to break big problems into small ones. You've already taken the first step today. You learned the language. Thank you for taking this journey with me. Thank you for your time and your curiosity. It's a privilege to get to share these ideas with you. If you made it this far, you are exactly the kind of curious mind this channel is for. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe and hit that bell. We're just getting started. Until next time, stay curious.